spray painted, my mother was verbally assaulted, and on and on. And that's what other persons from protected groups will have to go through in trying to fight their own legal battles, as well as the cost of the legal battles. You have to think that here in the state of Washington, we have a rural health program where we try to reach out to persons in these rural communities. Most of those positions are filled by persons in protected groups, mostly persons who are on a J-1 visa. They are immigrants that are coming in on that visa and work in these areas where doctors rarely go off to voluntarily. And well, one place in mind that I know about, I have a clinic in Aberdeen, and just in Aberdeen alone, as you can see right there at the very top, there's a white paper that was written about Grays Harbor County. That white paper proved that discrimination still existed in Grays Harbor County and was rampant. By some mystery, the Bar Association failed to review it, and so it was discredited just simply because it wasn't reviewed, but it exists. Also, we can see that there's been books written that death on the 4th of July accounts a Vietnamese individual who actually stabbed to death an attacker who had waved a flags and shouted racial epithets and actually attacked him and his brother at Ocean Shores. Down there at the bottom corner is a family there. As you can tell, it's a mulatto family, and they have suffered, both the parents and the children have suffered in Aberdeen, where the children have, people have actually swerved to try to hit the children as they walked on the sidewalk, and there have been many accountings of problems in the school system with that family. The person there at the other corner is a gentleman who had purchased the oldest house in the area and was, in his opinion, systematically harassed by the law enforcement. You have right there at the top corner there, you have the man, that man had abducted a 14-year-old black girl from East Coast who was, and brought her to Aberdeen and kept her there, raping her. When he was caught, they found where he had manifestos where he was going to kidnap 2 more black girls between the ages of 7 and 9 and put them into, use them as sex slaves and use the money to support his hate group. Down at the bottom, you have a young man who is 19 years old who created a MySpace page and harassed one of his classmates and put on there lots of racially and incendiary material that included a threat to hang the child if he told anybody about the MySpace page. The gentleman over at the top is actually works at the Department of Corrections in the juvenile hall. He just recently got a position and has had over 38 complaints that are pretty much trumped up, and he believes that it's because of his ethnicity. And right there we have an FBI raid on an individual in Hoquiam who had over 1,000 pounds of C4 and is linked to groups who attempted to assassinate Martin Luther King. This is just in Grays Harbor County, and this is areas that persons from J-1 visas or persons from protected groups will be practicing in. And if you do not think that that type of atmosphere infiltrates the walls of the hospital, then you would be naive. Again, earlier this year, you had the American Medical Association coming out and apologizing for racism. So they have acknowledged it and apologized for that. That's for the Human Rights Commission. And finally, just a little thing, this will be my second to last slide, that's my last slide, was the Department of L&I. The Department of L&I, they have rules and regulations, and I would hope that they follow them. The current rule that they have says to use the most current AMA guideline on impairment ratings. There's currently 6 editions, yet they use 5. I attended a meeting on how to use the 5th edition again and asked the question, why is the state continuing to use the 5th edition when the law says to use the 6th? there has been a new paradigm shift with the 6th edition, and indeed, my fear is that impairment ratings for the public may go up with this new paradigm shift and the use of the 6th edition. And so my fear is that trying to hold on to the 5th edition may be actually injurious to patients, and that they will not get a higher impairment rating. Now, I spoke with one of the medical directors from the LNI about it, and he assured me that the reason that the state has stayed on the 5th edition is because the 6th edition would actually be injurious to the patient and actually be low. But there is a way to do that. And again, what I tried to quote here was Horace, and it says, "A good and faithful servant prefers what is right to what is expedient." And so they have ways, if there's a need to change the rule, they have ways to do that that allows transparency so everyone can see just what benefits or negatives can come about with the 6th edition. My hope is that they would just stay true to what the rules are. And so finally, we just end with our president-elect with ethics reform, and our time for change has come. Culture in Washington must change. Please implement tough ethics reform. And I thank you.
Thank you. This is a very professional presentation. We appreciate your time. I do want to ask Mark, can you clarify our jurisdiction on this? Because I think we need to have kind of a summary on it.
Yeah. We don't have jurisdiction over independent contractors, but under the statute, independent contractors can seek redress through the courts. So they do have a legal remedy through the courts. It is not true that all MDs and lawyers and accountants are independent contractors. Some are, some aren't. When we investigate a case and we are told by our respondent that some individuals are independent contractors, we then use an analytical framework developed through reviewing what the LNI has, Internal Revenue Service, court decisions. There are several different ways, and we've written and issued guidance to our investigators. We do not simply accept the assertion by a respondent that a person is an independent contractor. We examine, and it's a very complicated analysis. It has to be done on a case-by-case basis.
So, you know, our work is based on jurisdiction. You understand that. This actually was very interesting to me because I'm a contractor. So,
Well, my
you
thing
know,
would be,
it's been a learning experience.
can you change your jurisdiction?
Well,
Your jurisdiction was bound by the administrative code. That can be changed by the organization, which is you. And so if you wanted to change the jurisdiction, well, you have the power to do so. If you wanted to change the administrative rule to incorporate independent contractors or some other language to make sure that doctors who are out there on the front line with the persons who have C4, if they are covered, then you have the power to do so. And my argument was, and my contention is, not to make everyone be able to benefit from the police powers of the Human Rights Commission, but to segregate one class is discriminatory.
Does anybody have any history, for my own information, as to why that WAC was adopted in the first place?
Yes, because the protection